This is BIA, Becoming in Action, a space to explore the lifelong journey of growth as leaders, as professionals, and as human beings. Through honest conversations and lived experience, we evolve with courage and intention. Here's your host, Sandy Abear.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. A note before we begin, this conversation includes discussion of addiction, alcoholism, recovery, and emotional struggle. Please listen with care if these topics are sensitive for you. Sometimes one decision changes the entire trajectory of a life. Not all at once, not overnight, but quietly, one day at a time. At 22 years old, Chris was deep into addiction. He was walking into an AA meeting without some grand vision for transformation. He just needed help. What started as one decision and a moment of chaos became 25 years of sobriety. And over time, it became something bigger than recovery. It became a life built around showing up for his kids, for his friendships, for his community, and continuing to show up for himself. Chris is someone who loves deeply, connects easily, and brings energy into every room he walks into. But what I appreciate most about him is his honesty about the parts of his life that still challenge him. The places where growth continues. The places where fear, vulnerability, and love still require work. This conversation is about addiction and recovery, but it's also about humility, connection, and the small daily choices that shape who we become. Because becoming isn't a one-time decision. It's something we choose over and over again. Let's begin. Chris, welcome to the podcast. I am so excited to have you in the room today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
You're such a natural-born storyteller. Where do you think that comes from?
My grandfather probably. He owned a jewelry store, so he was a big relationship person. So I think I kind of grew up being a relationship person. And my uncle, my dad's brother, he was very much the guy that held everyone together and told great stories. And that's what I always looked up to him. He was like my mentor.
You do that so well.
Oh, that was nice. So do you. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. The last time you guys came over for dinner, it was so wonderful. You wanted to ask questions, and I said, I have a box of questions.
It was great.
Yeah, you are so good at drawing out stories and telling your own and really making deep connections with people.
Yeah, I do enjoy getting to know people, like the human condition and what motivates people and understanding people better. That's important for me, and I find people very interesting.
It shows. It definitely shows. If somebody was going to spend the day with you, what do you think they would notice most about how you move through the world?
How I move through the world. Sometimes too quickly. Sometimes, without abandon. I would say people probably believe that I am motivated by getting to know people like we were talking about and like trying to see how people are, see how they feel, see what inspires them, see what motivates them. And trying to draw deeper connections is really important to me. It really is. I would say most of all, probably relationships. That's the number one thing they'd probably say is that I'm always looking to foster those and grow those relationships around me all the time because I think they're the most important thing.
Absolutely. You've been sober since you were 22.
Yeah.
Take us back to that time and tell us a little bit about it.
I grew up in a home where my dad was sober through the program my whole life. So I never saw him drink. A lot of my family has been in the program. Some of them needed to be in the program. Some of them weren't, my extended family. So I grew up around every Friday night. My parents would, when we were little, take us to the meeting and we'd sit and get talked to and raised by other wives of my dad's friends in the program. So it was just kind of normal for me. That's what I saw life as. And then when I would see other people's families, like later in life, it was just kind of weird to me that this wasn't normal. You know what I mean? So I was, interesting enough, I guess, extremely afraid of alcohol and drugs, smoking, everything growing up because I had always heard that it was in my family. It was like, you got to be careful. You'll end up dying. You'll end up disaster and everything. So I was very careful not to touch it. And then when I did, it took off, and it took off in a hurry. And it went from 0 to 100. I didn't start till I was about 16. And by the time I was 22, I was physically shaking. I was mentally broken, emotionally lost, and spiritually bankrupt at that point. And so I didn't have any place to turn to, but I tell people all the time, my parents had cut me off. I hadn't talked to them in about 6 months. I didn't have any money. I was wanted by the police. I was written a bunch of bad checks all over. I was living in Bowling Green still. Wasn't going to school. I had failed out again. I was working a job as a kind of pseudo waiter, and was pretty much a drain on society at 22. And I knew if I called my parents, if I told them I was interested in getting sober, they would try to bail me out. And so my intention was purely just getting money from them and having them pay my rent for a while. But I had no intention of staying sober and changing my life and all the things that took place over the last 25 years. It was really just a selfish motive at first. And then
Right.
one day at a time led to where I'm at now.
Wow. So even growing up with having the support of AA and going to the meetings and that knowledge, it didn't really insulate you, did it?
No, it didn't, because the thing about true alcoholism and addiction is you get the physical compulsion. Once it enters your system, it's the allergy of the body, and then it's the mental obsession. I always grew up, and I still am, very OCD. So it's like everything, I don't do anything halfway. Everything is full on. And so I am unable to like just say, oh, self-will and just fight through things. There's got to be something bigger and greater than myself, which was AA, and turned
Yeah.
into God, and turned into other people and relationships. That's probably why I try to foster relationships so much, is because without the relationships I have through people in AA and people around, not even just people in the program, but people around that know me and care for me, they want to see the best for me. So they kind of help facilitate that sobriety and facilitate me from making decisions that harm myself. I've kind of done a pretty good job of, I ask for help a lot. I'm not the person that tries to figure everything out myself, because I can't.
That's good.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I've landed, is on someone that is reliant on God and people very much.
So your connections really keep you grounded.
They do, and that's where my humility comes through. I will say the biggest gift I think God gave me is the ability to connect with people is really important to me. But he also gave me the gift to be grateful for other people's successes. I'm not a jealous person. I'm a person that really enjoys people's successes for them. And I'm able to be okay with, because I know I'm not going to have the most money. I know I'm not going to be the best looking. I know I'm not going to be and that's all okay. And that's where the humility comes from. It's like, but I want to be the best version of who I am. And the only way to achieve that is to surround myself with healthy, happy people and spiritual people around me.
Yeah, absolutely. So you went to that first meeting to check the box for your mom and dad to get support. What happened from there?
So interesting. I went, and that was the first day I had sober. It was probably 2 years where I hadn't drawn a sober breath. At some point of every single day, I was under the influence of alcohol and drugs. So that was interesting. Like I said, I was shaking really bad because my body was DTing from everything. I heard some stories about people and what they struggled with, how they had a hard time telling the truth, and they had a hard time living their lives without alcohol and drugs. And I'm like, yeah, I can kind of relate to this, and because I lied all the time. And it was always protecting my drink and my drug at all times. I had to make sure that no matter what, they're not going to take that away from me. And I was always protective, like, no, it's not the alcohol and the drugs. I'm a product of my circumstances. It's like, well, everything just happens bad around me and to me. Of total victim mentality instead of taking responsibility for my actions. And I heard a lot of people at these meetings talking about that. And I'm like, yeah, I can kind of relate to that. but they were also 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old men. And I'm a 22-year-old punk with my pants still sagging a little bit, my hat on sideways. I was still planning to hang out with all my old buddies and all my old system. I'm like, I can't do this. You know what I mean? I have to still do my thing. It's okay to go to some meetings for a while. And then all of a sudden, it was my whole life. It just happened. After about 6 months of trying to go out and party with my friends without drinking and drugging every night and living that life, I was like, I don't fit in here. And that was really hard. All of a sudden, met some younger people in sobriety. We started playing euchre, going bowling, all these weird things that I'm like, what am I doing at 22? But before long, it just became my life and my habit. I was going to 2, 3 meetings a day, like every day. It was my life. Before I knew it, I was getting healthier. I wasn't lying as much. I wasn't reliant on outside things all the time. I was always trying to fill the hole that was in my soul with everything else outside of my life. I started to grow up, not right away. I mean, it took some time for sure. It was like piecemeal for me, but I made strides at least.
Absolutely. You got old so that you could stay young longer.
No, 100%. That's very true. Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Tell me about your first sponsor.
So actually, my first sponsor, I had somebody early on because my parents being around the program, there was a younger guy, Eric, and he's this big, lovable guy that just draws so much energy. He's always sponsored like a million people. So it's like, he is an incredible guy. He's generous as hell. He puts everyone else in front of him always. He doesn't worry about money. He doesn't worry about anything. He just tries to build relationships. That's what he's always done. And so they introduced me to him, and then he introduced me to this guy that he was sponsoring. And he sponsored me for a short time. Then he came to me one day and he said something about his wife not wanting him to go AA anymore. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Was that a thing? And then he was just gone. So then I had to turn around and ask the original guy that I was talking about, Eric, to be my sponsor. That was like 6 months in. He's been my sponsor for 25 years. He knows everything about me. It's a funny thing. You hide so much for so long. You play everything close to the vest. Like I said, I lied a lot. I was a fake person. And then all of a sudden you tell one person, you unburden yourself that way. And it's like, oh, it's really cathartic. And then after that, I was telling people things that I swear I would never tell one person. I was just talking about it openly in front of people. And they're like, yeah, okay. You know, it's not that big of a deal. And it's those secrets and those demons that ends up destroying us. And I carried them around for a long time. I thought they were just these things that I couldn't tell anyone. And before I knew it, I was relating to people with those same stories, you know.
Shame can't stand to be spoken. It doesn't stay. You bring it out in the open and it's gone.
100%.
And it is so important to be able to connect with people at that level of real.
Yeah.
Right? When the grass looks greener on the other side, it's usually because it's fake.
It is. And I'm attracted to people that are flawed. I'm attracted to people that are vulnerable, like very much like open and like, hey, this is what I struggle with. I say it all the time. I can't relate to people that have it all together and everything is perfect and life is easy. First off, do I think it's real? Probably not, but that's the facade they like to put up. I'm very much attracted to people that are like, I struggle. You know, this is hard for me. Life is hard. And they tell me their story and then I tell them mine and we just relate to each other. Those are the type of people that I'm very much attracted to and want to spend my life around. I tell Bailey and I tell people all the time, you don't go to funerals that are packed where people are talking, man, they made all the money in the world. They were greedy. They weren't vulnerable. They kept everything close. Like those aren't the stories you hear. It's the stories about generosity and love and vulnerability and humility. Those are the people that pack funeral homes. And that's what I want to be someday. You can really tell who someone was by the way that people show up when they pass.
Yes. And you do show up so exuberant, so all in. It's fun to have you over for dinner. You appreciate every bite. It's just, you bring that energy to everything you do.
Yeah, so do you. That's why I think I'm always attracted to spending time with you guys and coming over. And first off, you put on dinners that I've never had in my life. I really do enjoy things. I really get into it. It's a gift. It's all a gift.
It is.
So it's nice. Yeah.
Now you sponsor people.
Yeah.
What's it like to be on the other side? To give back?
It's great. It keeps you humble. It makes you realize your problems aren't as big as they really are. It takes me back to worrying about whether I was going to jail, whether I could afford my next pack of cigarettes, whether I could afford my next fix. It takes me back there and what it's like to feel lonely, what it's like to feel broken, what it's like to worry about things that aren't really part of my life anymore, which is because of the program and God. You know what I mean? I've built relationships, and at that point, you don't really have any. I've built trust. That was hard for me because I lied for so long. And it's natural for me sometimes to want to not tell the truth, because it's
Right.
easier at the time. You think it's easier, and you always want to make yourself sound better and feel better. It's all out of fear because you're afraid, but it's a lot of fear that newcomers have. And so talking to people and listening to people that are struggling with fear, it takes me back to realize who I could be and who I was, but it also makes me realize where I'm at now. So it's good. The problem is you see way more failure than you do successes. I've probably sponsored 100, 200 kids over the years, people, and maybe one or two are left. So a lot of them are dead, in jail, in insane asylums, or they're still out there writing their stories. The success rate's not good, as you know. It's less than 10%. They say we are the chosen. I'm very lucky and blessed to still be here and be alive.
And you repaired your relationship with your parents. You're
I did.
very close with your family.
Very close.
Tell us about that.
Well, my dad, like I said, he's been sober for over 50 years now. And he is an extremely humble, generous, and an amazing person. He treats everybody with respect. My mom is a card-carrying member of Al-Anon, so she is constantly on me about all kinds of things. She loves the program. She loves everything it's done for me. She's very proud of me that I'm sober over everything else.
I'm sure.
You're a lot like my mom. You're extremely proud of your boys. It's the same. We have Sunday dinners all the time. It's very important for me to be close with them. It's very important for them to be close with me. They will do pretty much anything for me. They're a huge rock in my life. I've thought about it when I do lose them. It's going to be tough because they're a huge part of who I am. I don't exactly know how to go on without them because they've been there so much. I have one sister. My sister and I weren't close at all growing up. I wasn't the best brother. I was very self-indulged. I was going through my things. I put her through a lot when I was drinking and drugging. I've had a lot of making up to do with her and my family. Whenever she asks for anything, I try to be there for her. I did a lot of damage for a lot of years, so therefore it's hard, but we're very close. She's a huge part of my life now. My nephews are a huge part of my life. They're a part of my kids' lives and everything. So yeah, family's very important.
Yes. Tell us about your kids.
So my son is a lot like me. He's an 11-year-old boy. He's got a lot of friends and he loves to be involved in stuff. He likes to be funny. He loves to be part of the whole show, but he's a good kid. And my daughter is, she's the same way. She's got a lot of friends too. They're both good athletes. They're both good human beings. I feel like they take after their mom. My ex Tabby is a great person. She's a caring person. She's a very loyal person. She's very smart. She's very dedicated. She's hardworking. And I'm hoping my kids take more after her than they do me.
Oh, they'll do great either way.
Yeah, but no, they're good kids for sure. And I'm very lucky. I'm a little hard on them. I'm a little controlling. I think I know it's out of fear. I don't want them to turn out like I did. And so therefore I think I'm so scared that I try to like hold onto the wheel really hard with them too much. Bailey's always like, you're too hard on them. You're too tough. And I'm so scared if I'm not but it's a control thing and it's not healthy, but it is what it is.
And you now have a taste of what it was like for your dad going through that, right? So hard.
It's helpless. It's powerless. And being powerless is a very tough thing. And just letting things happen around you is not easy for me because I'm a control person. I want to control the situation. I want to control the narrative and I want to be involved and make sure things go the way I want them to go. And then when they don't, sometimes I act like a child and a baby and I get frustrated when things aren't going exactly like Chris thinks they should go, And what's funny is most of the time when I think things should go the way I want to, it's not the best outcome either. It's the outcome that I think I want, but in the end, God has shown me that that's not the best outcome. And sometimes failure is okay. I have to be okay with that, and that's hard for me.
Yeah, I've said it before. I try to think you either win or you learn.
Yes.
Right? It's not failure.
No.
It's an opportunity to keep growing, But it's hard, especially in the world we live in where everything seems outcome oriented
Yeah.
and success is put on such a high pedestal.
Yeah.
You've really prioritized your family over your career in many ways.
Yeah, I have for sure. I mean, with who I am and my abilities for sales and stuff like that, to be honest, I've been offered high paying jobs that I know would change my lifestyle and change who I am. And I wouldn't be able to spend the time and the energy with my kids. I love my job I currently have, and I'm doing fine. I make enough to be very comfortable, to be very happy, to do all the things I want to do. But yeah, I have definitely chose family and relationships and my lifestyle over making a ton of money. It's just what I did. I know me well, and that's the beauty of the program. I've gotten to know me really well. I've been offered jobs, like a lot of money to sit in an office all day too and do stuff. And I just know that's not who I am either. So I'm willing to compromise. It's basically, is the juice worth the squeeze? And in the case with me, I've always chose like, I like to look at it. I'd rather spend more time with my kids. I'd rather spend more time with friends. I'd rather build relationships. That's what my whole job is, which I love.
Nice to see you optimizing across all the variables and not just making money.
Yeah.
And knowing yourself is so important. We don't really get that encouraged to do that. It's not a one and done situation. Every week we have to get to know ourselves.
All the time. And so when I came into the program, really the old men that have been around forever would say the same thing over and over. They'd say, the more I stick around, the less I know. And I'm like, that's just something people say. But I realize that the longer I'm on this earth, the less I know. And I think I have stuff figured out. And I realize I just don't. Every single time God has shown me that every time I have everything figured out, it's like curveball here. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, you just don't. People amaze me. Every time I'm pigeonhole somebody, oh, this person's just a jerk. They do something amazing. And every time I'm like, this person's perfect, they do something that's like, oh, that disappointed me. People are human. They say expectations are premeditated resentments. And that's 100% true.
It is.
And it's just like, I continue to realize that life has different plans for me and different things all the time. Because I would have thought I would have just married Tabby and we would have been together, even though we weren't close and we were friends, but there was no passion. It wasn't a loving, crazy marriage. It was a partnership where we were raising kids together. I would have been okay with doing that for the next 50, whatever years it was, but never fulfilling what was truly inside me while I was denying myself what was real. I thought I couldn't do it. I thought I couldn't be happy without a marriage and my kids there and all that stuff. I'm way happier now than I was in that marriage. Nothing against her. She was great. It was just wasn't right for both of us.
Enter in Bailey. That's a great segue.
Yeah. Enter in Bailey. And Bailey has been a huge curveball in my life because I also thought, I bought this condo and I was just going to live there and then travel down to Florida all the time and just have fun with my buddies and date periodically and have my fun. And that was the plan. And then Bailey comes in my life and, she's fun and she straightens me out and she lets me be me, but she's also not afraid to say how she feels. She's going to hold me to the fire. And as much as I despise it sometimes, I need it all the time. And she is an amazing mother. She keeps me in line as far as being a better father. She's constantly trying to not allow me to settle. Because a lot of people around me sometimes will just be like, oh, you're good. But with Bailey, it's never good. It's like, she's always asking me, her son and herself to be striving forward. So those are the type of people that I need to be around all the time. So she's amazing.
She is amazing. And you guys are amazing together.
Oh, that was nice. Yeah. I'm very happy. It's not always easy, but it's always better.
I walked alongside her during her divorce, and it was hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
And to see the light come back into her eyes and the joy and the love, you know how to love her really well.
Yeah, I try to. And I'm learning every day is a different adventure. I mean, we're going through a process right now where we're both sold our homes. We're buying a new home. We're integrating our families together. There's a lot going on. And it's tough sometimes, but what I want, and I've told her from the start as a teammate, I want a real teammate that's there for me, even when she doesn't like me, even when it's tough. still be my teammate, and that's what I need to be to her is when times are tough, still be your teammate, even no matter what. Be there for each other, respect each other, love each other, even when it's hard.
And it is hard.
Yeah.
It is. You guys are closing on all the houses this week.
Yeah.
So it's a big week. I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Of course. Yeah, this is nice. It's good for me. This is how I grow.
Yeah.
Just taking a look back, taking a look at the present, and looking forward. So,
You guys got engaged over Christmas.
yeah.
It was very special. How did you decide how and when to propose?
She loves downtown Sylvania in Christmas season. I talked to my sister, my daughter, and another friend, and I had the idea. There's a thing downtown Sylvania, like an area with all these lights, and it's really pretty. They went down there, set up some music that we shared together because we went to concerts all the time. Our first real date was at a concert together. So playing the music from that, and then I had brought the ring with me, and I told her we were going down there to do family pictures, and she was getting annoyed, like, okay, what are we doing? It's freezing down here. And then she saw it and stuff. So it was nice. It was I'm not the most romantic. I'm not really good at that stuff, but I think that one went over pretty well.
It went over really well.
Well, that's good.
The pictures were gorgeous and special moment. And she specifically told you she didn't want to get engaged on a holiday on Christmas, right?
She did. So I did Christmas Eve. So yeah.
So she wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, exactly.
So she was so shocked.
Yeah, true. It'll be something that we'll remember forever, which is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And sometimes it's easier to think of it that way, as not being romantic, but making it special, memorable. I know for us, Jordan and I got married in our family room, and it was very low key.
Yeah.
And definitely wouldn't have wanted a huge wedding, but I do kind of regret it a little bit because it was so meaningful. Yeah. We've been married almost 21 years now, and he's been such a great partner. I'm like, oh, we should have done something more special. So it is nice to make it special. Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I'm very blessed. She's amazing. So
Yeah. You both are.
thanks.
So now you're all coming together.
Yeah.
What are your hopes and fears as you enter in this next phase?
So continue to grow, continue to be just very compromising, because it's going to be a lot of compromise. There's going to be a lot of change. I have my kids 3 or 4 days a week. It's pretty quiet and everything. And now we're going to have all 3 kids together, and she has her own quiet time, and we have to still be respectful of that. And it's going to be big adjustments, but it's going to be, it'll be great because I need to be with her more and see her more. I've always been I've been pretty selfish in relationships. Like, I've been really unselfish with my friends and selfish in my relationships. And this is something that I really need to be way more unselfish. And I'm trying my best to be that way with Bailey, because the reason my relationships have failed before is because of my selfishness. I wanted my time and the way things I want them to be, and not put in the work. And with Bailey, I'm trying to be better and put in the work. And there's going to be a lot with Eric, with AZ, with Ashton and Bailey, all of us together. And we're just going to have to all find a way to make it all work. I'm trying to see it more as an adventure than it's a burden.
Yeah. That's so fascinating because you have always been really generous with your friendships. Why do you think in your romantic relationships you've been less generous?
I think I've taken people for granted. I've always grown up with the idea, well, there's somebody that'll put up with it, or somebody that'll be there no matter what. You know what I mean? I've been really good at 3-month relationships. Anyone that's dated me for 3 months, they'll probably be like, oh yeah, he was great. He was this, he was that. But then once it gets to a year, 2 years, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go hang out with my friends, or I'm going to go play golf, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to watch a game. And it's like, I've always tended to, my default is to put things ahead of the other person, because I took them for granted. And I was like, well, if they have a problem with it, whatever, they'll have to deal. And I wouldn't care. That was my attitude. Just because I wouldn't care about certain things doesn't mean another person wouldn't care about them. But it was really just laziness. And I've also been a little scared, because I think a little bit is fear. If I truly put myself out there and truly, there's a lot more to lose. And if I keep everything surface level, there's a lot less to lose. So with Bailey, I've really made an attempt in our relationship to go beyond the surface and be very vulnerable with her and talk about things that actually scare me, because I'm a man and I can't be scared and I've got to always have all the answers. And I have to be like, everything's got to be fine all the time. And sometimes it's not.
A lot of times it's not.
I
It's
know.
just life. It's hard.
I know. And I'm scared that if I share those things, they'll be used against me. And I'm scared that they'll also be like, well, he's not, we want a real man that, doesn't, So it's
Hmm.
like one of those deals where it's like a fight, internal fight in me to be truly, I'm easily vulnerable with my friends, like with like certain people, my sponsor, people in the program. But with women, I haven't been as vulnerable and I haven't been as humbling and all the things that I need to be to have a real,
Right.
true relationship. That's scary though.
Oh, to be all in,
It's scary.
it
I've
is
never
scary.
really been all in.
Yeah.
I've always had one foot in, one foot out,
Right.
just protecting myself.
And I think our society puts a lot of expectation and pressure on men to behave a certain way. And I think you've done a really good job of shedding that from a very young age with your platonic relationships.
Yeah.
Because a lot of men don't even do that. Most men, if they have close friends, they're not emotionally close,
Right.
right? They hang out and they do things. They're alone together playing video games or
I tell
what.
my friends I love them
Yeah.
in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And then my kids here, and they're like, why'd you just tell, Paul or Chapo or all these other people, you love them? And I'm like, because I do love them. And I care for them. They're part of my existence. And if for some reason I lost them, I would want them to know when they tell me the same thing. We have vulnerable, those type relationships.
And what a gift for your kids to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And now to evolve to being ready to do that in a romantic relationship is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is awesome. I mean, I'm very blessed. I've had an amazing journey already. I've had a lot of great people in my life, but I have to also learn that sometimes the compromise means like not as much with my friends and more with the family. And with Bailey so far, she's the first girl that I've actually done that, where my friends like will invite me to do things, blah, blah, blah. And I've always been a yes man. And so for me to say no to my friends, which I do on a regular now, it's a lot of growth,
Yeah.
but it's tough.
Oh, I'm sure it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you're letting them down.
Yep. I don't like letting my friends down.
Right. But boundaries are not letting them down. It's just keeping things balanced.
And it's my own fear that they're not going to like me as much. They're not going to count on me as much. They're not, but it's okay. It all comes down to fear with me and my insecurities. People look at me and they're like, oh, this is big, tall guy. But I'm like, yeah, I've got a lot of insecurities. I've got a lot of things that I struggle with. But knowing that about myself is good though. Being willing to talk about it and be like, yeah, certain things I just can't do. And I'm not I'll fake it and act like I know what I'm doing. I'm not that guy. I'm just willing to say, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Well, I know when Gerard and I got married, it was a big adjustment. My first marriage, we drove almost everywhere separately so he could leave when he wanted to leave. I didn't really consult him on plans. I would say, oh, we're going to my mom's, meaning me and the kids are going to my mom's on Saturday. If you want to go, you can. If you don't, that's fine. Just that's how we operated. And the first time I said, we're going to my mom's on Saturday, he's like, what? You didn't ask me. We didn't talk about this. And I'm like, well, you don't have to go if you don't want to go. And he's like, this is not how this works.
Yeah.
It was such an adjustment. So I can relate to like, wow, like it's totally different. It's a new set of rules. And you don't even realize you have those paradigms running in your mind, framework of this is how it works, until someone points it out and says, no, this isn't functional. This isn't how a relationship works. I can totally relate to the disorienting nature of renegotiating everything.
Everything. It comes with compromise. It means that you have to give up certain things where you can't just do what you want to do and when you want to do it and say what you want to say and when you want to say it. But life, again, we talked about it this whole time, is about relationships. Good relationships are ones that need to be fostered, worked on. There needs to be good boundaries. There needs to be compromise. There needs to be healthy conversations and communication, which means sometimes that's a tough conversation. Like, hey, when you said this or you did this, I've had to do this, and be like, that actually hurt my feelings, or I didn't like that, or I didn't feel loved. And I'm just asking in the future, can you, which is really hard for me to do, but it's important that I do it.
That's interesting too, because you are willing and able and comfortable asking for more tactical help but still struggle to ask for emotional support.
Yeah. So I will tell you this. What's hard for me after 25 years of sobriety and being 47 years old, it's really hard for me to accept where I am. I would have thought I would have been farther along in every aspect.
Really?
And so it's hard for me. That's the expectations deal, right? It's like I should have more money. I should have more, I should be more spiritually fit, or this shouldn't bother me, or I should be able to deal with this situation better, or I should put God in front of all my issues I struggle with, whatever it is, because I still have obsessive issues. It is difficult for me to accept that I'm always going to have struggles. I'm always going to have moments that are uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Like I should be way more comfortable in this. I should be way more comfortable in my own skin. I shouldn't have this insecurity still. And that's hard for me to accept that I'm not farther along. I just sometimes look at the world and I'm like, oh, this person has it all together. They make every right decision. They're never unhappy. They have all this money. Whenever I compare, I lose.
Yeah,
Always.
that's fascinating. So that notion of feeling behind is so common, but behind compared to what?
Exactly.
Right.
I'm exactly where I should be and where God wants me to be, but that's hard for me to accept. It's hard for me. Like my golf game should be better. Like all these things should be, instead of accepting what's the serenity prayers, what do I need to live all the time?
Yeah.
Because I accept things for what they are, and the wisdom to know the difference is the hard part with me.
You're
'Cause
very hard on yourself.
I am. I am with certain things. With other things, I need to probably be a little harder on myself. But like with certain things I hold myself to a standard that I can never achieve. It's just a life of gratitude. If I'm grateful for where I'm at, then I'm not sitting there wondering, don't I have this or why don't I have that?
I talk to my kids a lot about figuring out your cheat codes. We all have them and they're different for everybody. Like, what's the thing you need to tell yourself to hype yourself up, to calm yourself down? Because, I mean, that's what we do all day long, right?
Yeah,
We have to be our own hype person and we have to be our own therapist in those
100%.
moments. And the work's never done.
Never.
It's never done.
I reference back to a movie that's an interesting movie that I think is overseen as The Truman Show. It's all about he's living in his own world and everything in the world is about him. And so I think we all live in our own Truman Show. Everyone has their own worlds. And it's like me understanding that everyone has their own worlds makes me closer to everybody else. Me understanding when I think everything's about me and I take everything personal and I make it all about me, it doesn't go well. But when I'm understanding everyone's suffering, everyone has their things, that's where the true humility comes in. It's just being okay with letting people be them. Because I want, like I said earlier, the control thing. It's like I just want to control everything because if they act like I want them to, everything will be fine. If they listen like I want to listen, if they talk, I want them to talk, everything will be good. But everybody has their own world. And in your own world, like you said, sometimes you have to just I have to calm myself. Sometimes I have to have confidence and talk myself up. And easier said than done some days. But
Absolutely.
a lot of times it matters how much sleep I've gotten, if I've eaten healthy, if I've been exercising, all the other aspects play into exactly how I react in the present.
Have you ever read Leadership and Self-Deception?
No.
It's a really good book.
Okay.
And I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Not very long. Talks a lot about when we put people in a box, they're obstacles to us.
Yeah.
So we got to get out of the box
Yeah.
and remember that we're all human.
Yeah. It's a struggle to meet people where they're at.
We get in our own head, in our own perspective. We get so locked in that we forget.
It ain't personal.
It's a personal.
Everything everyone's doing, whether they cut me off in traffic or whether they go in front of me in line at the grocery store or whether they make a face to me or they make a sound to me, or it's not personal. Everyone is fighting all their own battles. I've always liked hanging out with you because you definitely have that perspective in life. So I really appreciate that about you.
Thank you. I try really hard.
I know.
And I get there too, where it's just like, yeah, it can be hard, but it's hard to be human. I tell myself that a lot, and it's hard for everyone else to be human too.
It is. And yeah, everybody has their own thing going on. You just don't know what it is for each person each day.
You sure don't. As your kids are getting older, it goes so fast.
Really fast.
What do you hope they take forward from their childhood and having you as their dad?
So I want my kids, the same thing I was talking about with me, is meeting people for who they are, where they are. I want them to be so accepting. I want them to be so loving. And I want them to, like, over everything, I want everyone, when they say, yeah, those passenger kids are people that really treat people with love, respect, and humility. I really, really want that overall. If my kids fail and they don't do well at sports or they don't do, I don't really care. You know what I mean? As much as when it's happening, I want them to succeed, obviously, because I don't want them to fail for them. But overall, I really want people to look at kids I've raised as people that end up being like my dad, where my dad loves everyone, treats everyone with respect, with love. He's always patient. He's so patient with people. And I need to work on patience big time because I'm so in your face, wanting everything done and wanting it done right. So I want my kids very much to be patient with everyone. I want them to treat everyone with love and not care about their race, not care about their gender, not care about their sexuality. All the things that I grew up caring about, that everybody told me I needed to care about, differences were exacerbated. I want them to feel like they live in a world where everybody is different, but we're all the same underneath. And I guess it sounds cliche, but Dr. King judged people on their character, not on anything else. And I'm hoping my kids take that and they just turn out to be the people that everybody turns to when they're struggling. Like, hey, I can go talk to Ash and I know talk to Hazel and they'll make me feel safe and they'll make me feel wanted and they'll make me feel all the things that I'm needing right now. I want my kids to be those for everyone else around.
Well, you're role modeling that for them.
Well, sometimes.
It's so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
No one's perfect.
No.
And that's good, because then it gives you an opportunity to say you're sorry and to own it, teach them how to be accountable, how to repair. Those are skills that everyone needs.
Yeah.
So you have to role model those things too.
Yeah.
It's not about teaching them the right emotions and the right way to deal with things, showing them how to deal with all of the things, feel all the emotions.
So it's hard because, like I said, I try to control with them, especially my son, because I see a lot of me in him. And everybody says he's a little you, which is like, oh my God, I went through such a dark period in my life. I'm like, how do I lift him out of it? But you know what? He may just have to go through it to come out the other side. And I pray to God he comes out the other side. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he won't go through all that stuff. But if he does, I have to just be there for him like my family was. And then if it has to come to a point like my family did, where they have to give me space and I have to give my son space, I might have to do it. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but I'm praying that I'm a parent that is able to let my kids grow up, let them fail, let them succeed, not take credit for their success or their failures. That's important to me, but it's really hard for someone like me that try to always control the narrative.
Well, children are such mirrors, and we see ourselves in them, and it can be scary because all the qualities you're describing in him are great, but we all kind of live on that razor's edge.
Yeah.
That things can go one way or the other, and you can't control, but gosh, it would be nice, right? I think it would be nice.
I mean, I would think so, but I'd probably screw it up for him.
Yeah.
If I could control it all. You know, it's the same thing. I always love when I hear people, if I could do it all over again, I go back to high school. I'm like, you would think you are slick and you're going to make all the right decisions. But because you think you know what's best, you'd probably end up in worse shape because you're like, I can figure this out rather than let life figure itself out.
There's something beautiful about saying that is what got me right here.
100%.
And if you don't love right here, then that's what you need to focus on, is loving right here.
100%. And being okay with where you're at right now. And it's tough. I mean, it is tough. Like some days are better than others. Some nights I wake up in a cold sweat. I'm like, where the hell am I? And then some days I wake up and I'm just extremely grateful and can't wait to attack life. You know, it's just, I wish I felt the great way all the time, but I wouldn't enjoy the successes and the good feelings if I didn't suffer the bad feeling too.
It's all about learning how to ride the waves of ups and downs and not get stuck in depression, get stuck in the trough. That's our endless work.
Gosh, yeah, it's true. And it's work, which means Every single day, I got to try to be the best version of myself, which means I probably have to improve things every single day, which means I need to give up life leads pleasure. Like, cause I'm someone, I love instant gratification, love it. And so it is hard for me to not live in constantly feeding whatever it is I feel at a certain time, whether it's greed, whether it's gluttony, whether it's lust, whatever it is. I have to put those things aside sometimes for the greater good. It's not easy because my instinct is to want to take instead of give.
It's the human condition. It's how our dopamine systems work.
Yep.
This summer, are you guys thinking about wedding plans?
So we've kind of getting that question more and more lately. I think we both are focused first on selling the houses, getting into our new home, making that a home. Once we take care of all that stuff, knowing Bailey, I could see her just being like, okay, let's just get married there. Because that's kind of how she is. She's like, feels it right then. She's like, you know what? I think we should just do it now. If we're going to do it, let's just do it now. And that's the way things went with the house, actually, because I was kind of like gung-ho about moving out, getting a house, doing all this stuff. And then I could see it was stressing her out. So I went to her. We had lunch Sunday. And I said, hey, I can tell you're stressed out about this. I know you got a lot going on. Let's just take a step back. We don't have to hurry this. We don't have to. And then she says, no, I actually was talking to my dad. I was thinking about it. If we're going to do it, we should do it. And then within 2 weeks, we have our houses on the market and they're selling and then we're moving. It was kind of one of those things where she just had to work it out. I just sometimes have to let Bailey work it out in her own head because I'm not going to be able to tell Bailey how to feel or how to work anything out. She needs to do it herself.
Well, that's how we all are.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Right. When it comes to the marriage thing, it's probably in the next, I don't know, year, but I'm just happy to be with her. So when she tells me to show up, I show up.
I love it. Golfing. So summer full of golfing?
Yeah. I mean, I love golf. I don't love it probably as much as I used to, where I was playing like 2 rounds a day. But for most human beings, 3 to 4 times a week is an absolute ton of golf. And that's a good amount for me. I don't need to do any more than that because I can get obsessive about golf. Like I can get obsessive about drinking water. I can get obsessive about candy. I can get obsessive about you name it. That's my personality. So I have to be careful and be okay with not being able to do it some days because if my kids have stuff or we have stuff with Bailey or different things, I have to be okay with accepting. I still love to golf, and it's a good tell of where I'm at now in life because how I am on the course shows how I'm dealing with life because I can project frustration in life onto the golf course. When I'm happy in life, I'm satisfied. If I hit a bad shot, it's okay. When I'm not, I'm struggling outside of the golf course. It comes out where my anger and frustration come out more.
It's a good barometer for you.
Very good acid test.
That's nice.
Life is scary, but it's much easier to deal with when you have a good partner. Having Bailey in my life is a really important partner and is someone that I told her it's all scary, Bales, but together I do feel like her and I can do anything. I really feel that way.
Yeah.
And we've done this, we've got through this with each other. I think anything's possible without each other. I feel a little bit emptier, a little bit lost, a little bit alone. So I'm looking forward to the future because this is the first one, like I said, I've ever been all in on, which is, again, scary because it means there's a lot of risk. I don't like putting my heart on the line. I've realized that about myself. I thought I was Mr. Unemotional, undetached, but it's really underneath. It's fear. That's why I didn't before. So, yeah, I mean, that's about it. Just the journey of trying to be a better friend, trying to be a better brother, trying to be a better son, trying to be a better soon-to-be husband, father, all the things. Better just member of society. That's my goal. Have the best possible relationship with every human being I come in contact with.
And you're taking on a new role of stepdad too.
I am.
And that's a tricky one.
It is tricky. I love Eric. He's awesome. He's a character, and I love characters. He is full of life. You never know what's going to happen or what he's going to say or what he's going to do, which is great because it's an adventure. I've watched him grow so much in the last 3 years. He has grown. Bailey has grown. Her relationship with John has gotten better. There's a lot of aspects that I've gotten to witness things improve. Love seeing Eric grow with my son. They're good buddies, and my daughter is like a big sister to him. So she's always wanted siblings for Eric. This is a good opportunity to do it without a lot of the fuss, at least.
You and Tabby have really role modeled great co-parenting. That's amazing to have that comfort level with your ex, to be able to be at events and participate and just be comfortable.
Yeah, we are very close. We are much closer now than even when we were married. We get along very well. We don't have the unreasonable expectations on each other anymore. We definitely co-parent well, and my kids see it. And so it's nice because my kids see that things can not work out, but then work out, which is huge because nothing in life is infinite. Everything changes. Everything is going to be different. Everything. And you may feel one way one day emotionally, like I can't stand that person. And the next day, they could be someone that is very important to you. I think it's extremely important for my kids to see that people that were together can still get along, can have respect for each other, have love for each other. And I couldn't ask for a better co-parent. I mean, Tabby is extremely understanding with me. She is loving with me. She is patient with me. She loves Bailey. She's very healthy with our relationship. She's also in a very healthy relationship. So yeah, it's nice.
I think we often over-index on longevity in relationships, and
Yeah,
relationships end.
they
And
do.
we don't have good playbooks on how to do that well, gracefully. We're here on this earth to be happy, to grow, to be supportive of other people. And if you outgrown a relationship, it doesn't have to be horrible to leave. It can just not be right anymore.
100%.
But we don't talk about that enough.
So I talked earlier about my gift that God has given me to be happy for other people. I think it really helped because
Yeah.
I don't suffer from jealousy. I'm not a jealous person. So therefore, when it comes to her and having a new relationship and people are like, doesn't that bother you? I'm like, I'm happy for her. I want her to be happy. Just because it didn't work out between her and I doesn't mean that she's not deserving of love and all the great things, because she is. Therefore, am I jealous that it wasn't me? No, it wasn't meant to be with me. It was meant to be with someone else. We've had an important thing together, which was having these two incredible kids together. God gave us our journey, and now she's on a different one. And I love that for her. I don't go back on relationships. I always said that. I'm not the person that goes back with their ex all the time, because I'm like, hey, once that journey ends, it's time for a new one. I'm okay with that. And if there was somebody else, sometimes even they've been with my friends and they're like, don't you have a problem with that? I'm like, no. If that's who they want to be with, that's on them, and let them be happy. It doesn't do me any good being jealous and spiteful and angry. It's like having a resentment and drinking the poison and hoping the other person dies.
Exactly.
I'm the one that's drinking the poison.
That's such a healthy attitude. Comparison gets us into trouble. For you,
Yes.
comparison does not lead to jealousy, but that comparison leads to a lot of judgment of yourself.
Yeah, making me feel less, not because of them.
No, because of you against you.
Me against me. Everything. People say when I go on golf and they're like, you're the most positive person to every single person around you, but you're so hard on yourself. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. I've heard videos of me, people will record it without me knowing, and I'm great shot. And I'll hit the same shot and I'll be like, oh, I stink. I'm the worst. You know what I mean? It's like, why can't I get there? I don't know what it is about me, and I'm still figuring it out. Like, why I can't get to that point where I'm as happy for myself as I am for everybody else. You know?
Well, you're getting closer.
I am. I'm not taking it as seriously and things as seriously as I used to, which is good.
You've been very generous with your time with me today.
Yeah,
I
it's been really
really appreciate you sitting down. So much to learn from your example. That's all we have is our testimony, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's my experience, strength, and hope.
Yeah.
It's all I have. And so I'm happy to share it. And I love sharing it with you because you are an extremely, look at, you're always smiling. You're always like, you just have such an amazing energy that it draws people to you. Just like I was telling about my sponsor. You're extremely generous. You're
thanks.
loving, caring. And that's what Bailey sees in you. I see it in you. We're very blessed to have you in our lives.
I feel the exact same way. She's been such a delight as a friend. I've learned a lot from her. It's a good vibe being with her.
She's beautiful in and out. I mean, she's
she-
absolutely a gorgeous girl, but her heart is really, it's amazing.
It is. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Yes, good to see you too. What stands out for me after this conversation with Chris is that his story is really about commitment, not perfection, not having life completely figured out, but commitment. Commitment to sobriety, commitment to his kids, commitment to friendship, growth, honesty, and continuing to become a better man. And I think that's what makes his story so powerful. After 25 years, he can still talk about learning. He still talks about growth. He still talks openly about the places where he wants to show up more fully and love people better. That humility is rare. I think most people believe growth has an endpoint, like someday we arrive and suddenly feel healed, secure, or finished. Life doesn't really work that way. We keep learning, we keep adjusting, we keep choosing. And Chris's life is proof that one decision repeated over time can completely change who you become. If you're listening today and struggling with addiction or questioning your relationship with alcohol or substances, please know you don't have to figure it out alone. Whether it's a friend, a sponsor, a therapist, a recovery group, or someone you trust, asking for help can be the beginning of an entirely different life. One choice can really change everything. And for everyone listening, I'll leave you with this. What is one choice you could make today that your future self would thank you for? Again, I want to thank Chris for his honesty, vulnerability, and sharing his story with us today. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.